Howdy, I'm Dr. Chelsea Huseman, Extension Horse Specialist at Texas A&M University, and I'm here with Dr. Betsy Green, Extension Horse Specialist of the University of Arizona. And we're going to walk you through some of the cool features that we found with the Equine Disease Communication Center website. You can find this website at equinediseasecc.org. The purpose of the EDCC website is to offer an industry-driven initiative which works to protect horses in the horse industry from the threat of infectious diseases in North America. This communication system is designed to seek and report real-time information about diseases similar to how the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention alerts the human population about diseases in people. So Betsy, what's one of the features that you really like about this website?
Hello. Well, the part that I really like is this first button at the top menu, the disease alerts. Because when you go to that and you scroll down, I can find out what's going on in my area as far as diseases. And so whether I want to choose by disease or if I want to choose by state, let's see, Arizona or anywhere else, or by dates. But what I like to do is just click on my state and then scroll down. And you can see from here that we've had quite a bit of vesicular stomatitis issues in a lot of different counties. Maricopa, that's Phoenix, and Apache, and Pinal County, all of these, so Casa Grande. We've had vesicular stomatitis all over the state. And so that's just one thing that we can see what's going on. And so then another thing, what if I wanted to go to a show in New Mexico? Well, I can just click on New Mexico and say, oh my goodness, they've had quite a bit of vesicular stomatitis as well. So those are some key things that I can find out ahead of time before I ever put my horse in the trailer. But what happens if I don't even know what vesicular stomatitis is? Chelsea, where would you go?
So I love about this website that it gives you a lot of information and resources, and one of those is the disease information tab. And you can really find information about just any disease that can afflict the horse, including vesicular stomatitis. So scrolling down the alphabetical list, you can get to vesicular stomatitis and find that there's several resources there, like an owner's fact sheet, giving you kind of the breakdown of the disease and the type, transmission, everything related to the clinical signs. It's just a great resource sheet for you to get the quick facts about vesicular stomatitis. And then there's more in-depth information that's offered through the AAEP website that gives you more in-depth information and allows you to kind of explore the disease a little bit more. Both great resources and available on nearly every equine disease through that disease information tab.
And so then if you wanted to know how to prevent your horse having exposure or limit exposure, you can actually go to the biosecurity tab and you can find a lot, you can find a lot of information on biosecurity, both just what is it, which of course prevention is the key, but also a lot of different toolkits, whether you're talking about disinfecting, going to events, talking about facilities, cleaning, disinfecting, isolating or quarantining horses, issues at racetracks, or even when you're traveling with your horse. And there's a bunch of information from simplistic to very much more detailed as well. And so there's really good information there.
Betsy, I like the feature that allows you to figure out if a disease is reportable or not. So finding out if, say, that vesicular stomatitis that we were talking about earlier is reportable within a state. So you can actually go to this tab and search your state to determine if that disease is reportable. So if we went to Texas for the vesicular stomatitis, and you'll see there it is reportable and actionable. So it gives you an idea of each of your state's regulations related to those equine diseases.
And these can vary from state to state, but now you have the tools right at your fingertips to find out what they consider important for reportable or not. So if you see that there's no strangles reported in Texas, well, it's not reportable, whereas it can be reportable in Arizona.
It's super helpful to also know any of those interstate animal movement regulations when you go from state to state traveling. So not only knowing the diseases in those states you're headed to, but looking at those requirements for your animal. So if you were going to take, say, your horse from Texas to, let's say, Kentucky, and you're going to be changing to horses, which you can do all livestock, you can work through a series of questions. This one happens to be, are you on a quarantined premises? So we're just going to say, no, we're not. And are you moving to a racetrack? So we'll say, yes, we are. And then it's going to give you some regulations that you'll want to follow in order to travel with your horse from Texas to Kentucky, and the things that are going to be required from you to be able to do that.
And so you can just see that you will have to have a certificate of veterinary inspection within 72 hours of entry. You'll have negative Coggins test for equine infectious anemia, EHV or equine herpes virus 1 vaccination within a minimum of 14 days. So that's quite a bit of information that you want to know well in advance before you move that racehorse from Texas to Kentucky. So there is just so much information on this site that you just need to start digging through. But what if you wanted to have information reported right to you when you in your email box or on an app? All you have to do is scroll down to most of the pages on this site. You can get email alerts with an email address and first name, last name. And if you're a DVM, you can check it and subscribe. Or what's really cool is they now have an app for your phone, whether it's Android or Apple, and you can get that information right on that computer that you keep in your pocket. So this is just some really basic information of what's available on this site. But both of us have really found it very useful for both ourselves and questions that we get from our clientele in the state.